All right, so welcome everybody to the. All right, so welcome to the support and resistance video. So pretty much in this video, we're going to be talking about how to set up our support and resistance for the daily time frame, the 4-hour time frame, and the hour time frame. So pretty much, right into it. Going back to what I referred to, this is not like the monthly support resistance. You're going to be looking at pretty much just price action. So on the daily time frame, I'm going to be looking at relevant price. I'm not going to be looking all the way back to 2005. Like, that's not going to benefit me. That shit's way back there. So I'm looking at, all current price. This is all current price. So anyways, let's go to the line chart. Turn off your moving averages. So keep in mind, if you find an area of support and resistance, first of all, it has to be support and it has to be resistance, or else, like I already found one right here. Perfect. On the daily time frame, color coordination is important. So I use red for the daily, orange for H4, and I believe I used yellow for the hour time frame, and then black is my random lines. So we're going to be getting into random lines obviously a little bit later on. Those are for random areas, support, resistance. So pretty much, as you can see, it's almost kind of the same thing, except you don't have a foundation and all of those other things. So like I said, here we have a touch. Here we have a touch. That's valid. So now I'm going to get to that. And obviously, you guys do the same thing. I'm going to look for just a couple areas real quick. So I found one right here. As you can see, right here, it overlapped. Over here, it overlapped as well. I'm going to keep looking. Okay, here's another one. Here's another touch. Here's a touch. There's a touch. So you want to be looking for mainly your main areas of like reversal. So as you can see, it came down, hit this area, and then came right back down. So you don't want to be looking at small areas like this one right here. Like, that's insignificant. This is insignificant. As well as, right, this little bump right here is insignificant. So you want to look at the bigger picture pretty much. So continuing, I believe I could find an area here. Yeah, so here's an area. Here we have support. Here we have resistance. So my main one is this one. So I'm going to see. So it's definitely an overlap. Okay, so overlapped here, touch there, then I'll overlap here. So that's fine. Okay, now let's. Alright, so I found another one right about here. Here we have an overlap. Here we have an overlap as well. I'm trying to find kind of the median. Okay, right here should be just fine. As you can see, I think this should be enough for now, as it's just I'm showing you guys a video. So normally how I do these daily support and resistances is every time price action moves, so in between each monthly key level, I try and set up as much as possible, but not too much to the point where there's a lot of clutter on my screen. So I'm going to see if I can find one up here before. Okay, so I would say right about here. Okay, so here we have a touch on this side. Here we have a touch on this side as well. Okay, so pretty much I leave it like this all throughout. There's not too much clutter, at least not just yet. But now what I do is simply I lock them, just like that. Click on them, lock them, click on them, lock them. So pretty much you can't move it. It's impossible to move unless you unlock them. Or delete them, of course. So lock, lock, then lock there as well. I believe there's one more right here. Okay, actually no, there isn't. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So now I set it up for the daily time frame. Candlestick now, or go back to the candle chart and make sure everything lines up as well. Obviously, this is an area of resistance here, but I don't really see a support. So this would be more something for a random line. Other than that, it looks pretty good. All right, so like I said, in between each monthly, so here's a monthly, set up your daily. And obviously once price breaks out, then that's when you want to pretty much start adding more. So if price were to come, let me grab a tool real quick. If price were to come, break this point and start coming in this area, right? Before it comes into this area, or at least once it comes into this area, then I start setting my support or resistances for the daily, for each time frame on here. Then I can go ahead and leave these there. So just like that, and you're pretty much going to be doing that for every single time frame. So now on H4, excuse me. So now on H4, you should find in between each daily time frame area of support and resistance, you should find at least 1 to 3 max for H4. Okay, so yet again, let's go back to the line chart. The fuck? Line chart, now H4, use yellow, or I mean orange. So I'm gonna start off down here between these two. Okay, I see one right here. Boom. So here we have support. Here we have a touch. Here we have a touch as well. And then, as you can see, touch here. And I believe, is that a... Yeah, there we go. Okay. That's fine. So now, like I said, remember, as you can see, like over here, it respected the daily resistance. It's this area of resistance only for the daily, so regardless you'd have to add one for H4 just like that, you know, because it's only valid for the daily time frame. Okay, now back to the line chart. We're gonna continue. So I was only able to find one here. Maybe we could set one up right about here. Yeah, okay, but that's kind of blocking. I'm just gonna leave it alone. Alright, that should be fine for now. Okay, on to the next one. So here there's obviously this, I'm just gonna have to find a meeting point between each area. So as you can see here, we have overlap. Here we have overlap, touch. Just move this up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so that's one. So here there's an area of resistance. See if there's an area of support connected to here. Yeah, right there. Okay. Oh. Alright, yeah, should be fine. Okay, area of support. Let me see if I can find a meeting point. Right about here should be fine. I confirmed that with the candlestick chart. Yeah, that looks fine. I'm gonna adjust it a little bit and go to the line chart. Alright, obviously as I'm doing this, you should be doing it on your own chart as well. So far everything looks fine. So I'm gonna lock all of these. Alright, now moving on. Okay, so I only found 2 here. I could put a lot more, but it's just gonna be a lot of clutter. Actually, think of no, there's no area of resistance here. Okay, so now on to the next one. Here there's a huge area of support. Then it was used as resistance right after, so I'm gonna put it right about there. Okay, that looks just fine. Wow, it feels like there's not even a single area of support and resistance here. It's a whole 80 pip gap. Wow. I mean, yeah, no, there's not. All right. So and this is what I said about these in the last video. That's why you want them small as possible. But not too small, of course. Okay, so this is all an area of support. Here's resistance. Then there's support right here. So I think right here. Okay. Yeah, here we have an overlap. Here we have an overlap as well. I'm trying to find kind of a mean point. What does that look like on a candlestick chart? Always be switching back and forth to see, of course. So yeah, I think right here is probably the best. So yeah, right here is probably best. All right. Remember to lock your horizontal lines as you go. So here's a resistance. There's an area of support. Okay, here's another one. Gap and gap. Perfect. So you can see it came, touched here, bounced off of that, and then came right back up. Then broke it, retested it, and came right back down. So yeah, right here's not too bad. I was only able to find 2 here. And then this one's going to be a lot less, most likely. Okay, here's another one. Here we have touch. Here we have kind of overlap. So there, it's perfect. And last but not least, the top. So definitely right here. Here we have a little overlap, as well as here. So right here should be just fine. And let's see if we can find anything else. So I mainly see support here, not too much resistance. Okay, this should be fine right there. Actually, let's unlock that. Here we have a little overlap, as well as here. All throughout here is kind of the meeting point. So I'm gonna fix this. Right there should be perfect. All right, so that's pretty much it. And then you could do that for the 1 hour. So in between each H4 support and resistance, you can do that for the hour. I don't really analyze off the hour too much, so I don't really draw it for the hour. That's me personally. I normally have my main analyzations off of H4. Obviously, it's always a good thing to draw it off of the hour as well. But for me, it's just too much clutter, and I rather do it as I'm going. So, yep, if you guys would like to, draw it for the hour. But that's pretty much it for this video. Now, obviously, we've learned support resistance so far. You know, we've learned pretty much all of the basics. I believe in the next video, we're going to get into supply and demand. Me personally, I don't use supply and demand too much. I did in the beginning of my trading style, but now I don't. I just look for areas of exhaustion. But of course, I will have it up if you guys would like I guess a supply and demand video. And then after that, we're getting into Fibonacci. So I will see you guys then.